What's going on, FPL managers? Welcome to another video from Fantasy Football Scout deadline stream, and we're a little bit earlier than usual, just under an hour to go, and I'm joined by the burning question boys. Welcome, Praz, first of all.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. It's one of those late deadlines, so I was able to get time off the kids and do this. So thanks.
Nice. And Andy, welcome.
Hey, good to see you, Ted. It's been a minute since we potted, and glad to be here with the great Pras as well. Pras, I think you just have to push your mic forward and speak further. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep that feedback slightly. Guys, this is kind of a unique time because none of us have actually made our transfers for the deadline yet. So I think we kind of have like a bit of a group huddle and sort of have a look at each other's teams and see what might be the best transfer plans. Before we get into that, and maybe after we have a look at our teams, we'll answer some of your questions further near the deadline. But before that, I just want to do the advert stuff first. Club is a fantasy game which allows you to basically manage your own football club, like focus on things like staff and stuff like this, and like it's basically like Football Manager. It's like a free-to-play mobile game. You run your club, you buy and sell real players on a live transfer market, and they score points like in FPL, and it's like the top 5 European leagues. So if you like that sort of stuff, completely free to play, go check it out. I think it's on like mobiles and stuff. I think it's only for pre-register, but there's like a beta coming out soon. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. So check it out if you're into that fantasy sort of stuff. But yeah, enough of that, and on to our teams. We're going to start with you, Andy. We've got your team up here, mate, and you're not quite sure what you want to do this week.
I think I've narrowed it down to 2 choices. So we'll see what I end up doing in the next 50 minutes.
What are your current thoughts?
So I wildcarded in 34, so obviously pretty decently set up for this week. My 2 thoughts are this: I either go Mount to Mahrez, or I go Ramsdale to Ederson and go triple CD defense. So that's where I'm at right now with the 2 choices.
What do you think about that, Praz?
I mean, you can do them for free, right?
Both. Yeah. So I have 1 free transfer and about 1.7 or 8 in the bank. Yeah.
So look, I mean, I think it comes down to you're free hitting in 37. Yes. So it comes down to what team do you want later. I think the Mahrez one has a little bit more upside because in 38, I guess Mount also plays Watford at home. So it's a difficult one. This week, I think Ederson may give you more upside just because they should keep 2 clean sheets. But then Ramsdale can get a clean sheet against Leeds. You're in a very luxurious position if these are the 2 dilemmas that you have.
Mm-hmm. Praz, you have a very lovely, powerful voice, but every time you speak slightly too enthusiastically, the mic goes like fuzzy.
Okay.
So just be chill, man. Just be chill, right. And we're there.
Soft voice. Soft voice.
Soft voice. I don't know what's happened, but it's one of those things. Technical issues. Yeah, I kind of like the triple Man City defense, to be honest, Andy. Like the Ederson move, I don't mind it. Because Ramsdale's suffering. Like we saw, like his XG prevented stuff is really bad at the moment. And all of the Man City predictive stuff that Luke and Emma and I don't know if you guys listened to that 20-minute pod that they did last night. It's really good. But they were predicting basically, if you want starters, go defense. And yeah, it's a bit of a minefield otherwise.
Another thing I could do is upgrade my striker to Nketiah and sort of set myself up for 38 as well. Which is another thought I had, but that's just not exciting. So yeah, and plus my 38 team is perfectly fine at this point in time. So I think it's between those 2 choices. I just don't like the idea of losing Mount. I think he's a perfectly good option this week.
This game is such a minefield, man. I'm losing enthusiasm for it. Only because there's so much speculation about rotation and stuff. But I think what we just need to do is just Pick the best picks and hope that they play twice. And if it isn't, then it's like just unlucky, because there's a minefield in each of these teams. Like wherever we go, like apart from Arsenal and Spurs, who don't really have any sort of other commitments to focus on, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, who knows what's going to happen. You know, so I just keep Mason Mount maybe, or maybe use him as an opportunity to move to City player. As you were discussing before. So if you did do that, who would be your choice?
What do you mean?
For a City player instead of Mount?
Between, for me, it's between Foden and Foden and Mahrez, but I'm slightly favoring the Mahrez pick a little bit more.
Really? Oh my goodness. It's scary, man. Praz, what do you think about Mahrez?
I think he's fine if he plays. See, the thing is, there's one tactical nuance, which is if Mahrez plays against Newcastle, he probably misses goals, because if it's a 5 at the back, Luke made this point yesterday, that Pep generally prefers a right-sided player on the right-hand side against a back 5. So it's possible that the game that Mahrez misses is, but you know what? That's all speculation. I think pretty much everybody will play one game, have a cameo in the other one. I do agree that if money is not an object, then I think Mahrez has more upside than Foden. I mean, he's just had more goal involvement.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about owning Foden at the moment. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's got a high recovery rate. Yes, he probably has high expected minutes. But I kind of like Mahrez as the pick. Yes, he might only start once and make a cameo in the second, or vice versa. But he's a really explosive player. Like in the last 10 game weeks, I did some stats on this. He's only started 3 times, but 2 out of those 3 times he's got double-digit hauls. So he only needs 1 start. You know, you don't pick him because in normal single game weeks that Man City have, you just don't know where he's going to start. But in double game weeks, you know that he's going to start in 1 because, you know, it's pretty much that pattern is a start and then a bench. So I think he's a perfectly viable pick, and I'm kind of tempted.
What do you think? Do you think Andy Mount plays both the games, or what is your expectation of the second one?
I think he definitely plays the Wolves game, and I think there's a good chance he starts the Leeds game as well, and early sub, most likely. But I just feel like Mount is just gonna keep playing, even though that FA Cup.
He's playing, but what is he doing? I mean, we had him for the double. We had him for the Everton game. It's not that it's an explosive option even if he plays. That's the issue.
I don't think it's a question just on Mount. It's like, what's Mount doing? What's Chelsea doing? Because like all of their assets are kind of faltering a little bit.
Yeah. I think there's a stat about how Mount has had more shots on target than Foden in his last 6 starts, both of them. I don't know if I'd read too much into it, but even the last game, I think he had against Everton, he had some good chances as well. But I do get it. The upside in either any City midfielder is way higher. So
yeah, that stat might be a little bit misleading because Mount's probably shooting from like 30 yards out, whereas maybe Foden isn't. I don't know. Maybe that's just a bit silly, but that's the general perception of Mount, isn't it? When he gets into the box, then he's really dangerous. And that game against Norwich back in, I can't remember what it was, earlier in the season, that was absolutely amazing. And he was on penalties then as well. But when he's withdrawn and he starts shooting from range, obviously he's got the talent to put it in, but is it predictive? Nah, I don't know, maybe. But I probably prefer to have someone who's playing a little bit closer to goal. But at the end of the day, they're probably a little bit more of a rotation risk, definitely for that second game against Leeds, because I think Lukaku comes in for that game. So yeah, I think Mount's probably more sure of minutes. But as Praz said, like, how much can we actually expect of him?
Praz, you're right. The Ederson move is very, very, very safe and very short term because Ramsdale has a perfectly fine fixture in 38 as well. And it's not exciting at all.
It also blocks you out, right? I mean, imagine if you're going into 38 and you have an injury to Salah, let's say as an example. You can go KDB. But if you lock yourself out of the third, I guess you do that with Mahrez as well. I guess that applies there as well. But I just feel like locking yourself into an Ederson and double defense, you cannot have a City attacker now for the next 3 games. Or You won't have it for the free hit, but you can't have it for 38.
Hmm.
You know what I'd love to do in this stream is none of us have made our transfers. Can we go through each other's teams and then you lock in your transfers after we've finished and then move on to the next person? Or are you gonna wait until the deadline, Andy, to lock them
I'm
in?
waiting. You can't do that to me. That's unfair.
I mean,
coincidentally, we picked Andy first.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would love KDB, but there's just no way to him in my team.
Yeah, other than Son, I suppose. But it would be a bit. I think Son's a great asset this week. I don't think you should be removing him, especially when KDB probably has limited minutes, like 60 to 70 minutes, maybe 2 starts. But I think Son plays 90 in both of these games. So.
But that's what you and I are banking, right, Ted? That the Sun owners won't make the switch, and then we make our gains. We could obviously lose as well, but
absolutely, yeah. There's no guarantee KDB starts twice. Like if it was tactical, yes, that might be deemed a positive for KDB. But I mean, the fact that it was tactical kind of says, oh, maybe there are better players to call upon. That Pep thinks that, but I don't know. Maybe
he was holding a lead, so I guess it was slightly different. But I get your point.
Yeah. I think still KDB is probably the one for me, but I don't know. There's options. Okay, let's move on to your team, Praz. We'll come back to yours, Andy. Tell us when you've locked in your transfers. So we've got your team up, Praz. Same formation. Looks very, very similar to Andy's, actually, with slight nuances. You've got double Chelsea instead of double City. Only one City player in Cancelo. Havertz instead of Mount, and Kane and Kulusevski over Son and Richarlison. So what are your planned moves this week?
I am looking at the very risky Kane out move. So because I have 2 free transfers, I'll take Kane out. So the question is for who? It could be Richarlison, it could be Jesus. And then I'm looking to upgrade Havertz because I think compared to Mount, Havertz is more at risk in terms of minutes. So for Havertz, I can upgrade him to KDB or Son. So the idea before the press conference was, shall I just play it safe? Because what are the risks that I'm taking in Gameweek 36? Number one, the risk is not having double City defense, because I think that will be over 120% EO, not having a Spurs player. And the third one will be not having a Richarlison or an Everton player. So I think with the KDB news, I'm fairly confident going against Son. It's a risk, but I'm happy to take that risk. So it'll be KDB that comes in for Havertz. In the striker slot, personally, I think Richarlison is a little bit over the top this week. And I can understand people going for him because his next 3 game weeks are way higher than Jesus. But for somebody like me who's free hitting in Game Week 37, the delta comes in Game Week 37. In Game Week 36, if you look at Rate My Team, if you look at FPL Review, Jesus comes higher than Richarlison. And in Game Week 38, he's much higher than Richarlison because Richarlison is away to Arsenal. Jesus is home to Villa. So if we are going by the premise that Jesus is the first choice, he gets 1 game and he also gets the Game Week 38, I'm happy with 2 starts over Richarlison. That's the thinking. So yeah.
I kind of like it. I personally have Foden and Laporte, so 2 City already, but I haven't ruled out the move Foden to KDB and Kane to Jesus. But obviously, it's a bit stupid removing 1 City player who's got a high expected minutes anyway. But that's the only way I could get to Jesus. And I think Luke's predictor was like, yeah, he expects Jesus to start both. And he seems like he's in a bit of form at the moment. So I think I prefer Jesus to over like Foden or Mahrez. But I don't know. It's probably a bit of a sideways move, so I probably won't make it. But for you, like Havertz and Kane, perfect segue into doing that. So I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah. So, and the thing with Jesus is he can play in 2 positions. So he can play up front against Wolves who does he play first? Newcastle, when Mahrez plays on the right. And then this theory of when they play Wolves and Mahrez is the left footer, Jesus can play on the right. So he could theoretically get 2 starts. I still think, and my expectations are that he will get 1 and 30 minutes in the other. So if I get 120 minutes, that's okay. And if I lose out to Richarlison by 3-4 points this game week, not the end of the world, because you see, this is the problem. In Game Week 38, people who are going KDB are almost pre-planning a move to Son in Game Week 38. So you already have 1 transfer tied up. I don't want to have Richarlison as my attacker because a lot of people with Richarlison will move to Tony or somebody else. I want my attacker to be set which is Jesus. That's basically the thinking.
Yeah, I like it. I'm kind of jealous, as I said. I kind of want him. I think there was a stat about Richarlison that he's only scored like 3 away goals in the entire season, and that both of Everton's double this game week are away from home. So I don't know whether that's a stat we can actually read into, or the fact that he's gathered some recent form just negates that. But yeah, I think Richarlison is arguably better in Game Week 37, and people are talking about him for captain in Game Week 37, which is crazy. And people like us on free hit, we don't have to worry about not owning him this week. But I think it might be. I think I might own him. I don't know. It seems like that. So you're keeping Kulusevski anyway with your moves. How do you feel about that?
Also fine, because I think I don't want to use the word coverage, but if Spurs kind of go crazy, we've seen in the past 2 games where Spurs have actually really gone crazy. He can end up with an 8-10 pointer, so I don't mind that as a little bit of a hedge. Now, I'm completely conscious that a lot of times it's Kane assisting Son or Son assisting Kane, so Kulusevski is just kind of there. But I'm happy to play him, and again, it comes back to Game Week 38, where I'm happy to have him versus Norwich. So he definitely stays. The other move I was debating was, if I don't go Jesus, I go Richarlison. I have then money in the bank to upgrade the same Ramsdale move that Andy's thinking about to Ederson. But I'm not feeling that as much, because Ramsdale can get a clean sheet against Leeds, and then you're taking a hit to take him out. It's all about covering my risk. My risk is City defense, Spurs, and Richarlison. I can play really boring. I can go Richarlison, Son, and Ederson, and that's it. Because then I've covered all my risk. My Game Week 36 team is fine. But I just feel my gut says KDB is better than Son and Jesus is better than Richarlison. So I'll go for that.
Yeah, I think City need to bounce back immediately. They've only got this to focus on now. KDB is arguably their best player. He came off early. I mean, it's a marriage of convenience, right? We need KDB. I think he's the best option this week. They need to get results. He's going to be incredibly important for them. But just going back to Ramsdale, I really don't have any hope for Arsenal keeping clean sheets. They've got 1 clean sheet in their last 12 matches. And Ramsdale's really suffered recently, not performing at all. So even against Leeds, who aren't really scoring that much under Jesse Marsh, I just don't see it. I just don't see that high score for Ramsdale this week. I think there are better
White
options.
Could be out as well.
Yeah.
So this was the other option. This is what I mean, if I was to kind of narrow everything down, definitely KDB in. Then it's a question of whether it's Richarlison plus Ederson for a hit, or it's just Jesus. And I hear you, and I think keepers can just get random points, and I think goes back to the ceiling part of it. At Ederson is 12 points, so right, how much are you losing out? If you're taking a hit, then you're down to 8. So are you saying Ramsdale cannot possibly get 8 over a double game week? Maybe he can with a couple of saves in a game. Against Spurs, he can get some save points. So I don't think it's worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, it really depends if you believe in goalkeeper form, or whether they can just spark up with an absolutely magnificent performance like we saw Ramsdale do against Leicester earlier this season. People were benching him, and I think I possibly did bench him actually, but he just had one of those games where he made 9 saves and kept a clean sheet for Arsenal, and it was the start of a run of form for their defence. So yeah, it depends if you believe in goalkeeper form. I actually really like those moves that you suggested, for a hit, like the Havertz to De Bruyne, Kane to Richarlison, and Ramsdale to Ederson. But I know what you mean about the goalkeeper form, and whether that could just conjure up at any time.
And then it's the Richarlison thing, where I don't want Richarlison in Game Week 38, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's basically also looking at Game Week 38 and what team I want.
So you're pretty set on your moves then? Havertz to KDB, Kane to Jesus?
Pretty much. I mean, it's very unlike me, and Andy mentioned this on Wednesday, that I generally, at this point of the season, I can just say, look, I'm shutting up shop. I'm going to close up all my risks, and that's it. Because Son, Richarlison, and Ederson will close all the risks. My team will probably have a smallish red arrow because of the bench boosters, but I won't lose big. But here, KDB cameos in one, blanks in one, Son goes 20-pointer, Richarlison gives 15-pointer. It's a massive risk. I mean, I can drop out of the top 10K, but look, this is what I've kind of landed on, and that's what I'll go with. So it does come down to risk appetite on people's, how much they want to kind of put their season on the line for taking such risks of selling Kane on a double game week.
Yeah, absolutely. He could punish us, but I think, you're playing optimally. I don't think Kane is a hold when you've got players like KDB and Son that you can switch to. KDB more so. Okay. It'll be interesting to see when you get your moves locked in. We'll talk about captaincy when we look at my team. I'm going to transition to my team.
Wait, Pras, what are your other options besides that?
I think those are the only two, because I'm going to keep Kulusevski. So it's only between Richarlison versus Jesus. And by the way, on one point, if somebody doesn't have a free hit, they shouldn't even debate it. It's definitely Richarlison. So that's the point, that because I have the free hit, that becomes a debate, and I'd rather get the EV uplift from Jesus now in 38. That's the thinking.
So you're saying that Jesus is a better pick in 36 plus 38 rather than Richarlison for the 3 game weeks, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Okay. Let's go back to my team. Okay, so unlike you guys, I'm on a 4-5-1, not a 5-4-1. And it's largely the same sort of players and largely the same sort of move that I'm going to make. But I've got Foden in midfield, and he's done all right for me in recent weeks. So happy days. And I said to you earlier that I was considering Foden to KDB and Kane to Jesus, but that obviously would keep Kulusevski, and we would largely have a very, very similar team, Praz. But moving Foden to a very, very sideways, almost effectively moving him to a Jesus, I'm not sure what the upside is there, and it's probably not optimal. So I think I'm just going to stick to the original plan and move Kane down to Richarlison and Kulusevski up to De Bruyne. And I think it looks like a healthy team. Fairly happy with it. It means no Spurs coverage. It means if they go crazy, then I'm really gonna suffer. But I think, as you've alluded to earlier, Praz, like De Bruyne to Son in game week 38 is probably what I'm looking at. But then again, I'm going to have to just play Richarlison, and he might not be the best option in 38. But nevertheless, I think it's an okay team. I'm a little bit worried about the likes of Laporte, who, there's unfounded reports of him having a little knock and maybe not be able to play both games. But I think the predictors are saying that he starts both. I hope that's the case. And largely, guys, I mean, that's the moral of the story. We're just going to have to hope that all of these big hitters play as much time as possible and see what happens. But it certainly limits that ceiling, that 200-point ceiling that we're expecting from the biggest game week of the season, doesn't it? It feels like it's going to be less of a top score this week.
People have Richarlison and Schmeichel, right? That's one example, even on free hits. And that kind of tells you that people are expecting Leicester to keep a clean sheet, but also Richarlison to do well. It doesn't make sense. There is an anti-hedge going on here. But I think there's a limited set of players that people are targeting. But double game week brings variance anyway, right? I mean, it takes 1 or 2 players to go crazy, like Coutinho in 28, that suddenly, some went for him, some didn't. And it could be Son, it could be Kane, it could be Richarlison, it could be Jesus, any of the City guys. It could be the defenders. I mean, people are swaying Chelsea defenders. I see in the chat. It could be Robertson. I mean, these guys are good enough to play one game and still kind of haul versus other people that are going for other defenders on a free hit.
Yeah, people saying moving Laporte to Cancelo, like I can't do that. Surely, is that optimal? I mean, do we really think that Laporte's expected minutes is significantly lower than Cancelo's, and that sideways moves we're talking about, it just doesn't sit right with me.
Anyway. I mean, look, Cancelo is the number 1 pick in the team. Putting everything aside, you can argue upside versus Laporte and all of that. It's a double game week. He'll play twice. He is the guy who will get a 15-pointer. Maybe not Laporte, and Laporte can, but the expectation is that. So in terms of when you were thinking about Foden to Jesus, I think Laporte to Cancelo is a bigger upside, but I think neither work because you have, you can get to 3 City without that.
Yeah, and that would be for a -8. So these 2 moves are for a -4, and that's probably high enough, to be completely honest. Like I'm not going to make 3 moves this week, so I'm just going to stick to the -4. Kane to Richarlison, Kulusevski to KDB, and we're going to roll the dice. Right, let's talk about captaincy, because it's quite a pressing one this week. I think for anyone who has Son or KDB, you've got a legitimate consideration to be made. But on our bus teams, we've all got Salah captain. Andy, have you been set with Salah for like a while? No wavering at all?
No wavering. I think I don't think I want to take the risk and go against Salah. What do we reckon his EO is going to be? What, 150-ish, right?
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah, I just don't want to risk it. I'm perfectly happy trying to make some gains elsewhere and keep it on Salah.
It's nice to be able to support every single player in your team, right? And I know I'm talking about effective ownership like it's the measure that we should use to actually determine our captain, which is not what I'm saying. But I think just going anecdotally about, we've had a lot of exposure recently from Salah's press conferences and the honesty in which he's going about like disclosing his intentions, and that shouldn't make a difference between knowing how good Salah is, but it certainly does give us confidence that he really is thinking, I want to get 10 goals in like 3 or 4 games. So yeah, we don't want to miss out on that.
I think by the way, Ted, I think there's a lot of questions about whether people should captain KDB or Salah. I've noticed that, and it's like pretty simple. Like I guess you could just pick the player you think is going to do the best at the core of it. But as Pras mentioned, it's risk management, right? So maybe you want to chase, maybe you want to try to get the big increase, then sure, KDB could be a good captain option, but comes with a lot of risk.
I was definitely set on KDB captain because I knew I was going to bring him in this week. But since the Champions League game, and I think the expected minutes goes down a little bit, and after listening to Luke and Emma last night, I think they were saying, yeah, it's probably expected 60 to 70 minutes in each game compared to like 80, 90 minutes for Salah in each game. I think they're going to be high scoring games for Liverpool as well. So maybe they score same number of goals as a team and Salah might be more involved. But at the end of the day, I think it's probably just Salah for expected minutes. But both of them equally as good. And if you need to climb rankings, then you can always bank on Salah faltering, and KDB probably is the better upside. But I just don't want to do
anyone's asking like who's going to play both, who's going to start most, nobody really knows. But as you mentioned, Emma's chart does a very, very good job of kind of having somewhat of a prediction. So yeah. With that being said, did you see Luke put out his team and it said, I have no blah, blah, blah idea this week? That's hilarious. Yeah.
I think he updated that. So I don't think it's his final answer. But yes, I think I'm going to lock in those moves now, actually. Kane to Richarlison, Kulusevski to KDB. It's not like a stupid move. There's not anything better I could do, right?
Let me look at your team once more.
So guys, just to like reassure you, it's half an hour towards the deadline, and once we've got our team sorted, we're going to help you. We're going to answer the super chats that have come in already, so don't worry. We'll get back to those. And yeah, send in your questions, and we will try and answer as many as we can in advance of the deadline. And then after the deadline passes, we will try and stay for all of the team news. We've got quite a few 3 p.m. games to digest in terms of the starting lineups. The Chelsea one will be particularly poignant. There's some mutterings that for Palace, Mateta doesn't play and Gaeta doesn't either. But again, take it with a pinch of salt, that's speculation. But I think it was Focal that posted that, and his sources are fairly reliable. So yeah, take it with your own understanding that might not be true, but that's what he's saying. But yes.
So just to double guess you, can you do Havertz to Mahrez and Cody to Fodder?
I think I can do Havertz to Mahrez for 1 free transfer because I've got 1.3 in the bank.
So then if you're not captaining KDB, and then you get to keep Kane as well. I'm not trying to change your mind, just trying to discuss options before you lock it in.
Oh my God, this was actually one of my options. I had 3 options before going into this, and this was one of my options. I was like, I can't bring in Mahrez. I can't do it. And ignoring KDB, but it would mean keeping Kane and Kulusevski. I don't know how good that is, though. I don't know.
It gives you a better Gameweek 38 team. That's what it does, because you have Kane, Kulusevski, Mahrez, who should all start in their very good Gameweek 38 fixture. I mean, this team would be great in 38 as it is. That's the thing.
Oh, so, don't do this to me, Praz. I was locked into this.
You asked for this.
You meant to disagree with me.
Pras has mastered the art of convincing.
No. Look, obviously I'm doing a similar move. So obviously I approve of that much more. But if somebody thought that Mahrez has that upside in one game, KDB has limited minutes, I can also see the other side of it. But in my view, the best 3 City assets at this stage are KDB, Cancelo, maybe Jesus or Mahrez. You would have none of those 3 if you did that. So that's the counter. Now I'm trying to kind of bring you back to your original. If you swayed away from all those 3, you're basically getting poor man's City assets, which is Laporte, Mahrez, and Foden. That's the issue.
When we were talking about Mahrez earlier, it's so easy to say, yes, he's an explosive asset, and yes, he could start 1, but that's okay. But then when you're actually legitimately considering him for your team, it's like, no way, I can't possibly do that. But no, like, let's talk about Havertz really, because is there a chance that he starts both? Is there just a chance that he just plays every single game until the end of the season? It's only the FA Cup final they have to contend with. Otherwise, there is a possibility that they could, unlikely possibility, they could slip out of the top 4. Very, very unlikely. I think it's like 6 points that they need to just, seal it. But does Havertz play both of these and then the FA Cup final? Is the rotation going to be that bad? No?
No, I don't. I mean, we can only go by what Chelsea fans are saying. It's not that bad.
No. A lot of people saying Ted, sell Havertz over Kulu. I don't know. I just got this feeling. That Havertz is going to do all right this week. Even if it's just, even if it's a start against Wolves and 30 minutes against Leeds, I could just see him doing something more than Kulu. Like, really, is Kulu going to do something? Really, against Liverpool? And he's not even that good. He's like super lucky.
He's freaking out right now.
This is what happens. This is what happens to Ted under pressure.
Let's think about it. Havertz will play Watford at home in Gameweek 38. So I think Havertz at home to Watford versus Kulu away to Norwich, I think that's much of a muchness. You agree? Or do you think Havertz is much better?
I think Spurs have more to play for. They need to batter Norwich just to make sure.
So then Kulu is slightly better than Havertz. You agree?
I don't think. In Game Week 38, I agree, but I don't think he's better than Havertz this week.
Yeah, fine. I'm just trying to work out because now whatever transfers we're making, because all of us are on free hit 37, it's only applying to 38 and now. So we have to not ignore 38. So essentially, if you're saying Kulu is better then, he's going to get more minutes now. Chelsea attack is a bit meh. Then why don't you just get rid of Havertz? That's the thing. That's the original thinking.
Oh God, it's too much to handle. I can't be dealing with this.
Andy, you and I are not getting invited again on deadline stream.
No, this happens all the time. Don't worry.
Okay.
Whoever it is.
No, but I see the logic for both options that you have a dilemma for, Ted.
If I'm just
selling
like
Kulu and Kane.
Yeah, but look at those fixtures. Look at those. Okay, like when we think about
it's not dude, but Ted, Kulu is just as important to the counter-attacking system for Conte as Son.
His assists, like Kulu's assists, are all like passing to Son at the edge of the box, and Son just puts in a wonder goal or whatever. Like,
I agree with that.
It's not like from a pure FPL perspective. Kulu is just playing in a team that scores a lot of goals. I don't think he's the main guy. I think his sorts of, dodgy assists are not. I don't really want to rely on them in a big game. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially when they're not going to have as many chances against Liverpool, and maybe even not Arsenal, because Arsenal are going to have more possession. Spurs are going to counter-attack, but maybe that suits Son more than Kane or Kulusevski. I don't know.
I think that's... Look, I don't own Kulu, so it's very easy for me to say. But look at the Brighton and Brentford game. They had 0 shots. Those were the games that they had no chance. But it's these games where they might have not as many chances, but where they could break free. I don't like the idea of losing both.
Oh my
All right,
god.
we should stop bugging this guy. He's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. You make it. In fact, I'm getting nervous as well because I'm not on Twitter to see any lineup leaks, and we have our transfers to make. What I don't want is that we forget in the biggest double game week of the season.
So we've got 20 minutes to go. I think it's only fair that we switch our attention to the chat and answer some of your questions, while each of us ponder our own moves in agonizing silence. Let's move. Let's start with the first super chat. This is Meninda. Thank you for being patient. Coutinho to Grealish or Kulusevski for a -4. So you're looking to get rid of Coutinho, but I don't think Grealish. Are you going to bring in Kulu now? 7.7 max. What do you guys think? Any better options for 7.7?
So clearly he's free hitting in 37. Otherwise, it just makes no sense.
Yeah.
Then Kulu is fine because you get the Norwich and the Burnley game in 37-38. You get a double now, and Kulu must be funding another move because otherwise Coutinho, you just play Coutinho this week.
I don't mind it. It depends how many Liverpool players. How much is Diaz? He's like 8 million.
Yeah.
Or Jota. How much is Jota? Has he sunk below?
No, he's also 8+.
Oh, that's annoying.
Madison is okay, by the way.
Yeah, Madison's a good shout. Because I think he probably starts both of these games. Everton and Norwich is a really good double. Nothing to play for now. Could be demoralised Leicester team, but they're probably going to try and do their best until the end of the season. I like Madison over I don't want to bring in Grealish. Grealish not going to get the game time. Maybe Madison's a better shout. Right, on to the next super chat. Getting KDB, replace Madison or Havertz for a -4. Free hit 38.
Madison or Havertz? Probably
Havertz, right?
Yeah, we're not giving Havertz enough love. He's going to get points this week.
I could just see it. I'm just getting so mad for no reason. I had no reason. I could just.
It's the thing that I think Lukaku start is imminent. Now I know Havertz can also play on the side where Werner plays, or he could still start even if Lukaku starts, but he's not the same. His numbers drop a lot if he's not the one up top. So we're just doing confirmation bias at this stage. But look, at this stage, Madison is better than Havertz because again, we don't know the chips. Madison has a double-double. Havertz has maybe one game each in 36 and 37.
Oh my god, it's so flapping. I'm just going to stick to my original move. I can't handle this. Anyway,
By the way, Kamzi, I see is on the chat. He is supporting you that Havertz is better than Kulu. So look, just kind of giving you the data points. I think Havertz you can sell Havertz over Kulu. You won't get the points this week, but by 38 you'll make it up.
Or I could just take
Kamzi went and got rid of Kane and Kulu, Ted, for Mahrez and Richarlison. That was his moves this week.
Okay, so it's very similar. It's just I'm going KDB over Mahrez, which is, it's all right. Let's just go to our last super chat. Alejandro, who to triple captain out of Son, Salah, or KDB? The fact that we're all captaining Salah just from like an obvious standpoint is probably the best move. But if you want a hell of a lot of upside, I think the other two are perfectly well considered. What do you guys think?
I think with the captaincy, it really depends. So I didn't chime in on the earlier captaincy chat as well. I think for me, it depends on your goals, where you want to achieve. So if you're above 50K, let's say, and you really, really want to have a shot at the 10K, there is no way you're getting it by captaining Salah. So I can understand people who are around 50K or less, and they really want to have this last shot and they want to go De Bruyne. I understand it because there are signs that Salah is looking less. His output is dropping a little bit, not in terms of underlyings, but more in terms of, just the output. So if you wanted to back a De Bruyne brace, go for it. I don't think at this stage of the season there is any right answer. You have to play the EO against you or with you. And this is the perfect example where De Bruyne's EO will be 30% or 40% and Salah will be 160%. So play your cards, and then triple captain is basically the same thing, but basically multiplied by 2. So, or by 50% more. So it's really up to you.
I'm locked in. I've done it.
So you sold Kulu, right? Because we agreed Havertz is better, right?
I know this is going to come back to bite me. Yeah. Kulusevski to KDB, Kane to Richarlison. That's what I've done. Knocked in.
All right.
Knocked
So
in.
Kulu you did.
Yeah, Kulu out. I've kept Havertz. I've completely ignored your sage advice, Praz, and that's going to bite me. I know it is, but I'm reckless, so whatever.
I think I think KDB is the guy who's flying us up the ranks this week. I really believe it.
Fingers crossed. Ted's meltdowns are hilarious.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm freaking out now.
Oh, it's time for you. I'm relaxed now. I don't have any decisions to make.
People are seeing this live this time, but this is basically Andy, typically 20 minutes before the deadline on WhatsApp. So you're just seeing it live.
Oh.
Okay, before we get to Andy's meltdown, we've got another super chat. Chasing 35 points, not quite sure what that means. So Kane, Martinelli to KDB and Nketiah, or Kane and either Mount or Maddison to KDB and Richarlison. I mean, considering I just made that kind of move, I don't mind the KDB and Richarlison one. Although, like Martinelli to Nketiah, that seems like maybe a better upgrade to Nketiah. But what do you guys think?
Andy, you take it. I'm finalizing my transfers.
Oh no, we don't.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
don't let Andy take it. He's in a meltdown.
What's the question? Go ahead.
It's quite convoluted, mate. So if you're stuck on your transfers, you just keep.
Okay. You tell me. I've stopped.
Okay. Kane and Martinelli to KDB and Nketiah, i.e., you're switching Kane to a KDB regardless.
Yeah.
So it's either Martinelli to Nketiah or Mount or Maddison. I think probably Mount to Richarlison. So it's Martinelli to Nketiah or Mount to Richarlison.
I think Nketiah. Nketiah is very good. I mean, he should play, given his history with Leeds, he should play that game. People don't really expect then a change, just bringing Lacazette in the North London derby. So he should play both the games. And he's also got a good 38 fixture. So I think it's good. Yeah,
I think I agree with that. Mount's perfectly viable pick. Like Havertz. Havertz is going to get double figures this game week. So heard it here first. Kulu blank. Both
you
games.
think, yeah.
Not that I'm biased or anything. Andy, talk to me. What are you doing? Have you locked in your transfers yet?
I just don't like losing Mount. Pras, what do you think? Ted, please.
It feels good now. I'm in a solid position. I've just done my moves.
I've just pressed the button as well. So go. You speak while I just look at if everything's fine.
I love that we do that. We're just so paranoid. Just don't need to check that the moves went through.
Ramsdale to Ederson?
Nah, I mean, no one likes to make goalkeeper moves. Even though Ramsdale's rubbish at the moment, it's just probably not worth it.
I have never made a late season goalkeeper transfer that I've not regretted. Now, Ederson is fine, but I just think you don't. It's very limited upside. You're not really maximizing. Can I give you some ideas for hits, or is it too late, Andy?
Go ahead.
So, if you downgrade Mount and Richarlison, you could go Jesus and somebody else like Maddison. If you go, well, obviously the Son to KDB move, which obviously doesn't make as much sense for you, but I don't understand why. You're free hitting in 37, so it's no different to us. But I see that you've enjoyed the points from Son, so you're hesitant to do it. But those are all options which I don't know why people are excluding. Why are some people not looking at De Bruyne?
So Mason Mount.
Mount to Maddison. We don't even know if Maddison's going to play both, though.
I think Sam Martin is generally bullish that because it's 2 home games. Look, let's be clear. Leicester has the best double of all the teams. And now that they're out, they're both home games. At least I'm quoting Sam Martin. He thinks that they will put out good teams because they want the home crowd to be happy. And, it's been a difficult season otherwise. So that's the thinking. So Maddison could get, Maddison would be as much of a rotation risk as Mount is this game week. That's the thinking.
I just think Maddison plays more minutes personally, but I don't really like the move Mount to Maddison. I'm not sure there's too much upside there really.
Fair. If it gets you a Jesus, that's the idea.
Yeah. Okay. Got a few more super chats. considering Edison and Son to Schmeichel and KDB captain. So you want to create some money to get KDB, and to do that, you're downgrading Edison and Son to Schmeichel and KDB. Switching captain from Salah to KDB, and you have 45 points to gain in your mini leagues. Well, I think it's a good upside move to captain KDB because he's the differential captain this week. I mean, removing Son is dangerous, but it seems like your move is geared towards upside. So if you're prepared for Son to bang in this difficult fixtures that might suit him, then it's a high risk, high reward move, in my opinion. So go for it if you need to catch up a lot in your mini leagues. Heike asks, Jesus or Richarlison on free hit? Praz, why don't you take that one?
We talked about it. I don't. Jesus has higher expected points on pretty much every tool that is available, but he's also 1 million more. So if you're on a free hit, can you use that 1 million to upgrade your third defender? Because I think for free hitters, the third defender spot is proving a little bit tricky after after Cancelo and Trent. So it's a very difficult to answer in isolation. I think if everything aside, I prefer Jesus as you've seen with my transfers.
Yeah, I like Jesus as well. Kind of jealous you've gone for it. Just a reminder, guys, every penny of these super chats will go to Street Child United. That's a charity that Gianni works for. It's a good cause. We're not pocketing any of this money. Don't worry, it's good to charity. So yeah, if you need any last minute help, just give us a shout. We'll try and answer some of your questions in the normal chat as well. There's so many coming in. Difficult to get through all of them. Andy, have you locked in yet, mate? 10 minutes to go.
Yet.
Oh my god, this is.
Speak to us. What are you thinking?
I think I'm leaning towards Mount to Mahrez.
I kind of like it. It's not a very you move, Andy. It's very.
I just don't want to lose Richarlison and Son. I think I'd rather lose Mount.
Don't do that. I was just giving options. Look, let me put it in simple terms for you. If you do Mount to Mahrez, you could lose points. If you did Ramsdale to Edison, you'd probably gain, but the gain would be lower. So what would you think is better after the game week ends? Losing some points or gaining only a little bit where you could have gained a lot more? That's the way you should think about it.
Yeah. So I think I have a pretty strong template, right? And so I think I can take this risk, and whether you call it risk or whatever, I'd like to have that one, supreme punt in there in Mahrez. So I was thinking the other way. So if I just keep Mount, what other moves would I make? And there's literally no one else I'd want to remove except the Ramsdale move, or upgrade my striker to Nketiah and just have another bench fodder. But that sounds kind of wild for just 36 and 38. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How much money in the bank do you have, Andy?
I think 1.5-ish. Yeah.
I don't know. I think if it was me, I'd probably either do Mount to Mahrez or just like a boring Ramsdale up to Edison or something. I think your team's really good, and I'm not sure there's.
Can I give you one last idea, Andy?
Go ahead.
You have James, not Alonso, right?
Yes. I was thinking about that too.
Pretty much everyone thinks Alonso has a higher chance of 2 games than James. That's another one.
I saw that. Yeah.
Just last super chat. Play Simicast over Robertson for the Villa game upside. I just know. I think Robertson gets one game. If they both get one game, who do you fancy to get more points? It's got to be Robertson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even the Robertson,
he could end up playing 2.
Yeah, exactly. Like the rumors about rotation might be massively over-egged. So definitely play Robertson, and if you've got some sort of other fodder, like a Cody or some other rubbish defender, play Simicast ahead of him. And if you think he's going to get one game, then a Liverpool left back against Villa is probably a better chance than Cody or whoever against 2 really difficult opponents. So yeah, I would do that. But yeah, definitely play Robbo. Okay, 7 minutes to go. Biggest game week of the season, guys. Are you excited? I am kind of terrified.
Can't wait. And this is, I'm just trying to see if we're missing any last minute news.
Yeah, has anything been said? I wonder. I don't think so.
No, not that I'm. Andy, 6 minutes left, man. Where are you?
I'll let you know in 30 seconds.
Okay.
Oh my god. Right, okay. A few questions. Jesus or Mahrez on free hit? I go Jesus. Cancelo captain, maybe, if you want some upside. Who else? Oh, we got a super chat. 4.4 defender punt. Holgate or Fofana?
Tavares,
Tavares, yeah, good shout.
the Arsenal guy. He's very attacking, and you get a clean sheet against Leeds. I don't think that would be my pick under 4.4.
And then Cathcart and Havertz to Diaz, Triple City, and Gordon. I don't mind it. Or hold Havertz. Oh, hold Havertz. He's going to have like 20 points this week.
Yeah, but then he'll have to play Cathcart. So I like it, actually. You could go there.
Okay. Don't listen to me.
He's got Havertz tinted glasses.
I do. I'm going to have to get some Havertz tinted glasses. I'm turning into Gianni. What's happening to me? Why am I blindly...
He's convinced you somehow, somewhere that you hold it. You've got triple Chelsea now, isn't it?
No. I don't have Reece James. Just
you don't have
Havertz.
James. Okay.
Yeah. Triple City, triple Liverpool, double Chelsea, double Arsenal, no Spurs.
Pras, Richarlison to Jesus and keep Mount?
Yeah, but you can do it for free.
No, that's what I'm saying. What do you think?
As in, can you do it for free? Richarlison to Jesus?
Yeah, I can do it for free.
I don't know. I mean, people think Richarlison does better than Mounts, but I think Jesus does better than Mahrez, so it's not an easy equation. But we should have debated that one, actually. That's a good idea. You see, what it does is it gives you a better Gameweek 38 player.
Exactly. Yeah, I was looking at that. I don't like Richarlison for 38.
Kulusevski's overrated for Norwich in 38.
But Richarlison will be very heavily owned. So I have taken a risk because I feel it. You are basically, it's worth. I mean, you're actually using your free transfer to do the same thing.
Ted, what do you think Richarlison's EO is going to be this week?
I think it's going to be fairly high. I would about 50-60%, I'd say, because he seems to be the cheap bandwagon pick. Especially now he hasn't got a ban. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Richarlison's like he needs to fighting for his life in Everton and blah blah blah." He's like the most important player to Everton. He's like the difference between Everton getting relegated or not, and people are just cottoning onto that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a high EO.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
The thing with Richarlison is he plays Leicester. Now Leicester is not going to be as easy. Back to what we were talking about. It's a home game. They're coming back out of Europe. That's what kind of swayed me away from him. But the Watford game, he'll be well up for it. And looking at stats, there's not much between Jesus and Richarlison with the reduced minutes for Jesus. So there's not much in it, Andy. I think all your transfers there's nothing to panic about. Go with the one that you feel.
I think, like, as Praz said, like, that Watford game for Richarlison's great. Like, Hodgson has already given up, apparently. In his press conference, he was like, yeah, we're going to get relegated. But I actually disagree with you, Praz, on the Leicester fixture. Like, surely the morale in that Leicester team is a little, shaken.
Fair enough.
And yes, it might be difficult, but it's difficult to bounce back quickly without really anything to play for as well. What's the motivation? They might take 1 or 2 games to get back into the professional standpoint. Like, we need to achieve personal goals and all this sort of stuff. So I think it's an ideal time for Everton to play Leicester. Sorry, just to go back to Super Chats, Coutinho, Kulu and Breuer to Mahrez, Gordon and Nketiah for a -8. Can't you do Breuer to Nketiah? Just do that. I think that might be a little bit better. Yeah. Last one. Sarr and Robbo out for Schmeichel and Diaz. I presume Diaz as in City Diaz, not Liverpool Diaz.
Yeah.
Or just goalkeepers for free.
I mean, Sarr can definitely go. Start
Yeah.
Schmeichel and keep Robbo, definitely.
Yeah, just the goalkeeper ones. Agree with that. Oh my goodness me. Okay, 1 minute to go. Are you locked in, Andy?
Yes, you can check my team on Twitter.
No, we can't.
I went with Morris.
Okay. You went with Morris.
I went with Morris.
Wow, that's such a not Andy pick. That's so
Mount to
bold.
Morris.
Oh my god. We've all got so many different City players. What's happening? I've got Foden, you've got Mahrez, and Praz has got Jesus. It's going to be such banter this week.
I think his KDB Jesus is the standouts. I really think so. But
Anything can happen this week, guys. Anything can
happen.
Especially after that Champions League midweek. So
it's the lottery.
Best of luck to you, chaps. I love it. I love that we're so split. It's so exciting. I don't hold much hope for my Foden pick, has to be said, but yeah, yours.
I mean,
yours
imagine
looks
taking up a lottery within the Pep Roulette lottery of them scoring goals and whoever's involved. Whatever, we'll see.
That just literally antipathizes the City squad this season and in any other season. In the biggest game week of the season, and we've all gone for different City players. That's crazy.
At least we've gone for 3 City. All of us now have 3 City, right?
Yeah. Right. Deadline is passed, chaps. Goodness me.
Morris. Oh my goodness.
What have you done, Andy? Morris.
Oh my God, I went with Morris.
Right, everyone, we're going to be staying around for another half an hour to wait for the team news. So we're going to chat some more rubbish for you. So if you're still keen on, sticking around and just seeing us bully Andy for the next half an hour, that would be, great to have you. Of course, I joke, Andy. We would never do that to you.
No.
But seriously, Mahrez, what are you thinking?
Knowing how
I'm not thinking anything.
Seeing how Andy's last game week was, Mahrez is going to play both and brace in both.
Do you know what? I would not expect. I would not. I can't even speak anymore. I'm so flapped. I wouldn't think that Mahrez. I can't even speak anymore, guys. It's fine. It's over. I can't even string a sentence together. What am I trying to say? I expect Mahrez to start and to have a double-digit haul in one of these games. So I think it's a decent move. I just don't think he starts the next one.
I'm in a mini league, and FPLTT on Twitter. You've met Tinesh, Pras, right?
Yeah, Tinesh.
He's a good friend of mine. Yeah, and I'm in 2 mini leagues, and I'm matching him in both cup games. Cup games are fun, right, between friends. And he saw that I just went with Mahrez because he has Mount as well. And he texted, "Oh, nice! I already won the week."
Oh, you're going to show him so bad at the end of this game week, mate.
Let's believe a little bit. Let's have some fun.
Right, let's go back to the intro.
On a positive note, we're all on free hit.
Oh my God!
Next week.
Yeah,
exciting times.
In 30 minutes, free hit starts.
Can we just start doing free hit templates now?
Go on then. What are you thinking for your free hit?
Already?
I mean, we don't. What's happened with our transfers has happened. Now it can be lineups or whatever. But I generally never think about. I've now made. If Kane scores a hat trick, fine. It is what it is. So it doesn't really matter. We look forward.
Okay, let me just bring up the fixture ticker because I've forgotten who's actually doubling. It's Leicester.
Leicester have one good double, one bad double. One good game, one bad game. Villa have 2 very good home games. You've got Everton with 2 very good home games. You've got Crystal Palace with 2 decent away games. And then Arsenal have a bad single game week. Liverpool are away to Southampton, which is a good single game week. And City are away to West Ham, which has suddenly become a tougher game week because they're not in the final anymore. And
that kind of makes the free hit in 37 a little bit more powerful. Maybe not having to go for City players in 37. You could go for Liverpool players because they play Southampton. I'm actually going to that game. I'm so excited.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's on the Tuesday night as well. It's gonna be like Champions League environment. So yeah, I after Vieira's comments about Zaha playing as like a forward, he's a dead cert for free hit in 37, right? I'm excited about owning him.
I need to dig into Villa's away stats. So their results have been bad away from home, but I need to see if their away stats are generally worse or not, because their home form is very good. On the other side, so let's talk Villa. Who are you guys thinking in Villa?
I mean, it has to be said, I've
Coutinho.
gone off Coutinho. I love that we've just both disagreed almost instantaneously.
You've gone off Coutinho.
Yeah, man, he's rubbish.
Me too.
Really?
Well, I'm sorry, he's not rubbish. Let's take it back, Philippe. All of the joys that you've given me over the years for Liverpool, I take it back. But I kind of like Danny Ings.
That's what I was thinking as well. If he starts these couple of games, looks good, he'd be. I even had a draft, and yeah, this is how sad I am. I've already got my free hit 37 drafts. I even have a triple defense like Martinez, Cash, and Dean, because attack has been uninspiring. Their defensive underlying numbers are actually very good.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Watkins is just pretty uninspiring. Like, yes, when people watch Villa and he's like, oh, Watkins had a great game, but he didn't score. And I'm like, that basically just antipathizes Watkins. Like, he's very lively and he does all the right things, but does he have the end product? Not so much. Ings, on the other hand, is one of the best finishers we've seen over the last few years. He just can't string a few games together because he's so injury prone. So let's see what happens, as you say, in this double game week, whether he gets higher expected minutes. If they switch the formation and play two up top with Watkins and Ings with Coutinho in behind, actually I think Coutinho's prospects go up.
Which is the weird thing, that if we like Ings, then Coutinho is good as well. If we don't like Ings, then Coutinho is rubbish. So that's why I had a triple defense or a Coutinho or Ings draft. Exactly this reason.
I kind of like it.
Richarlison will be very well owned, especially for the people who've got him this week. It's going to be a very safe play, and I think he may even be a popular captain.
And then I guess you've got to go Kane and Son.
That's my thinking, yeah. Kane, Son, Salah, Trent. Those are the four big single game weekers.
Zaha, any thoughts on Zaha?
Yeah, we kind of just discussed him, and we like the fact that he's playing as a forward, potentially, like as a striker. Vieira's like, oh, I have to persuade him and everything. I'm sure he's not going to say no. There's more chances of goals. So, yeah, I think he's a dead cert on 3 year 37. Do you guys think any differently? Is he a trap?
Midfield slot is always a very luxury real estate on a free hit. So I think he will be in consideration. But if we have to fit Son, Salah, I think Gordon will also be popular just because he enables so much and his home form is very good. Then you're talking Zaha, Coutinho. We'll have to see how we fit everybody in.
How many Liverpool players are you looking to have?
I think 2. So Trent and Salah.
Trent and Salah. How about City and Chelsea for you guys?
I don't know. Maybe Cancelo at most, but probably 0, maybe.
Yeah, 0. The risk with Chelsea and Liverpool, by the way, is they play the final first. So I think on free hit, we'll have to have a good first, second bench, if somebody limps off in the final or whatever. Which is an advantage for us because we can have the luxury of that bench with a double game weeker versus maybe somebody else who has a Salah or a Trent who will not have an optimal sub. But we'll need to think about that as well because both Chelsea and obviously Liverpool play after the deadline.
I'm just going to write this down because
damn, Pras, sometimes Pras surprises me, the levels of thinking he gets into.
I mean, FPL is all about thinking, right? So.
Oh, no Cancelo, Pras.
What?
He's not starting.
No Cancelo for hit 37.
Jesus Christ, Andy!
You cannot say that. And the game is tomorrow. Even then we were like, oh man. Cancelo is a TBD. We have to see. I would rather play Cancelo over a Palace defender, for example. You see,
that was so raw. That emotion was so raw.
That doesn't have him. That was joy.
Oh.
God, this is too stressful. I'm so aggressive. I'm not an aggressive person, but it's too much for me. Right, I'm going to write this free hit team down. We've got Richarlison, we've got Kane, and potentially Ings, right? Potentially. And then you have to have Coutinho, and then Zaha, and then
Look at this,
Salah.
dedicated to FPL. TED Talks FPL.
So
Love it.
maybe we've got two, or if we've got 3 forwards, we've only got one more midfield spot.
That's the issue. You want Son as well.
Oh, yeah, Son. So
This is why there's no space for Coutinho.
Who else are you going to have? Gordon, because he enables.
Gordon. You cannot have Son, Salah, Kane, Trent, Cash, Dean, all these good guys, and then a heavy Richarlison as well up front without Gordon.
Yeah, you're right. So it has to be Gordon, and then Martinez and Cash at the back. With
Or
Trent.
Dean and Cash. Remember our friend Dean?
Yeah, I mean, probably is Pickford a better choice than an Everton defender? Yeah, probably. And then who else? Like the only Crystal Palace player we're going to have is Zaha.
Oh my God, Pras, I went Mahrez.
It's all right, man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of the picks. Any of them can score a blank or 20 points. It's just we just kind of are playing roulette in the absolute sense.
No, I'm hopeful.
Jamie
now,
Vardy.
if either of us loses to each other, we'll just say we got lucky with the City play. So it's fine.
Got it. Scapegoat. Absolutely. Cancelo benched. Outrageous. You properly got me there, Andy, without even intending. I was so excited. Right, have we got
So
any
funny.
early
Go ahead.
news? Sorry. Oh my God. I'm going to just check Twitter. I don't think there's anything out just yet, but I think it's more after the 15 minutes before the before it's due to come out. That's the period, isn't it? 15 minutes.
In these things, I don't even see which game is when. What are the 3 p.m.s?
I think it's Chelsea. Chelsea Wolves, is it? And then
Yeah, I'm definitely not watching that.
Palace versus who's their first game? I can't even remember. Right, let me get the ticker up.
I'll be watching the Chelsea game with the hope that Mount doesn't do well.
Palace Southampton. No, sorry. Palace Watford. Chelsea Wolves. What else is there?
Burnley Villa.
Burnley Villa. There's a fourth one though, isn't there?
Brentford Southampton.
Yeah, but who cares? I know you're a Southampton fan, Ted.
No, I'm not. I'm a Liverpool fan.
Are you not?
I live in Southampton.
Ah, okay.
So I go to a couple of games, but yeah, I'm not a Southampton fan.
Ross, Ted's been to Seoul before.
Oh, really?
Have I been to where?
To Korea.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah. Sadly,
I'm trying to get Pras to come over sometime.
Yeah, Seoul, crazy city. The amount of times that I ended up in corner shops just drinking soju and strawberry milkshake. Like what even is that?
The strawberry milk, huh?
Yeah. But why would you drink soju with strawberry milk? Why is that a thing?
It's not a thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was told it was a thing.
Okay.
I was told that I'd be cool if I did that, but someone's just having me on. Outrageous.
So Villa, you guys have any Villa players? No, right?
Nope.
No, not yet.
So it's basically the Chelsea game that we're kind of waiting for the lineup for. And if James and Alonso are starting, you two are happy, and I'm double happy.
Oh, James better start.
I think
they should all start.
I think Chelsea will play their best team against Wolves, and then they'll rotate heavily against Leeds. Apart from Havertz, of course. Who's definitely going to play 180 minutes. This isn't definitely sure, by the way. I'm just kind of sassing you all.
Congratulations, Mount owners. I sold him.
Is this you all again bemoaning luck?
No. I'm having fun with it. I actually don't mind if he does.
He's so low owned. It doesn't matter. Don't have regrets now. If you sold him, you sold him. That's it. You made your choice.
What's Late Riser done? Oh,
His
he's
free hit is amazing, by the
free
way.
hit.
He went Jesus over Richarlison.
It's real nice.
He's got Son, De Bruyne, Jesus, and Salah. Kind of like it. So he's got two enablers, Gordon and Ketia.
Did he go with Mendy in the end? He did go with Mendy in the end.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So he's got double Chelsea defense. I really like it because a lot of people are compromising that defense spot. He went Alonso and Mendy. It's really cool. The idea is this team, and this is the same with my team, is basically full of players from the best teams. There's no Richarlison mucking about. There's no, Schmeichel. So no Leicester. No, I mean, he's got Gordon in there, but that enables everything else. Gordon is like this little magic bullet that enables the free hit, which will be the case in 37 as well. But it's a good one.
It's a good one. It's a good one, especially when some of the big hitters are expected to be rotated, like Robertson. He's basically negated all of that and just gone with the players who are definitely going to start both games. I mean, there is a small chance that Mendy gets rotated ahead of the FA Cup final for Kepa, but I think he's probably the most solid Chelsea pick this week. So yeah, it's fair play.
Someone said Pras is Sonaldo's mother. Pras is more than my mother, guys.
More than.
He's the love of my life. Huh?
I'm touched. Thank you.
Your mother and your father.
Mother and father.
No, I think apprentice is a better word. I mean, you've been playing this is your second year.
Second year, yeah.
So I feel like sometimes there's elements to the game which we all fell into in the beginning, which is the huge swings of mood and disappointments and, basically thinking about, like for me right now, I enjoy Monday to Thursday or Monday to Friday playing FPL way more than Saturday and Sunday because the results are the results. It's more about how do you solve the puzzle. That's just the way I like to play it. Can you solve the puzzle and then you enjoy finding the most optimal solution to the puzzle? Then forget about what happens in the end. You went with the right choice.
Yeah.
I think there's two. Go on, Andy.
I played golf professionally actually for a few years. So I played on the Asian tour, and one of the things about golf is that it's a long game, right? 4-day tournaments, and it's a lot like FPL. There's a saying about a very cliche saying that is so true. It's one shot at a time. So like you can't control the score at the end of the day or the outcome. Just every single time you have a shot, you commit to it, fully process it, and you go one shot at a time. And I think the same thing applies to FPL as well.
I completely agree. I think it's like you focus on the technical side first. When it's the same thing with tennis, you take it one point at a time. You focus on your mentality, so focus on the technical side. You hit the shot, and then if it's good or bad, you react emotionally to it, and that in turn affects how you hit the next shot. But for FPL, it's exactly the same. You take that logical standpoint, you make the right decisions on paper, then you get this volatile, noisy response from the results of a football game, which is just random to a certain extent. And then you go, oh, that went well, or that went really badly. I must be bad at this. And then for some reason, you let that stay with you for a few days, and then you try and get back to it. But I think it's easier in a game like FPL, which is not a sport. It's more of a mental game. But in golf, as you say, similar to tennis, it does have a knock-on effect to how you play your next shot, because the confidence is just a massive thing, right? It can batter you sometimes.
Yep, totally.
Pretty cool that you play golf professionally, though, Andy.
Yeah, a few years of a lot of fun.
I'm not surprised. The couple of videos you've posted, I was like, whoa, where did that come from? Andy, with the absolute drive. Oh, my God.
I've done a lot of weird things in my life, and FPL is now the love of my life. So weird life is crazy, man.
Yeah, it must have devolved quite quickly if FPL is now the love of your life. Can you tell us all of the other crazy things you've done? Just to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm. Are we talking about career-wise? I mean, I don't know. I just
Andy, you
running
can't,
business now.
you
yeah.
There's
can't just
700
say,
people in the chat, Andy. Careful what you say.
Andy, you just said,
Um,
I've done a lot of crazy things in my life. And you can't just leave us hanging. You've played golf professionally. You're now
Yep.
a fantasy football pro. And what else? You as Praz's apprentice could feasibly beat Praz this year. What have you
Nice.
decided? How are you going to celebrate if that happens?
Well, I don't like the term pro. I mean, I'm just a fanatic.
I'm just very good.
Yeah. No. I just think about it too much, you know. But I think I've just done a lot of things. And I think what I've realized, I guess we're talking about life, is that I used to think that I needed to be very specialized at one skill set. And I think that's a very important trait as well. But over the years, the business I'm running now, I've realized that all the different experiences have helped me get to this point in time. And even like FPL potting, as much as we love it, Pras, the biggest thing I got out of this is I'm much more of a confident public speaker now. And that's been translated to real life work as well. So there's always something you can learn from the things you do, no matter what. Yeah. And
yeah, that's a really good point. Like variety is definitely, it helps you translate all of those skills into other things that you do. If you're really, really good at one thing, then you're one dimensional. If something goes really wrong, or you get an injury or you can't do it anymore, then what do you fall back on? And yeah, I get it. But yeah, the only thing I've specialized in my life is being average at a lot of things. So there you go. Don't listen to me.
I mean, same here. Like there's just do a bunch of things, and I guess you'll figure it out along the way. But the opposite can be said too, right? You just commit to something you're passionate about, and that takes you to places as well. But how about you, Pras? Tell us about your story, because you're I know what you do.
Look, I work in finance, so I mean, you know what I do, but I've been in London for 12 years and nothing more exciting. I mean, I have got 2 kids and family, so there's not a lot of excitement with that. They take up most of your time. Work takes up the other part of your time. But the thing is, FPL, because I've played it so long, it just somehow creeps up to become a priority, even though it's hard to manage it sometimes on our Wednesday streams. But it's just, the story. I've been following football since 1994, so it's kind of shows my age. But it was always the thing that I loved. And then when I came to London, everybody was talking about this fantasy game, and then I got involved through work. And then it's the keenness to do well. You just sort of kind of get more information, try to learn what things are. I think I joined Fantasy Football Scout, those forums around 2012, 2013. That's where I met a lot of these guys, as Pranil, Hibo, even Andy. Let's talk FPL. I mean, we were all Zofar. We were all chatting, who to get, Leighton Baines or Ivanovic from 2012. So it just kind of grew. And then over lockdown, I just had more time. I was working from home a lot more. So, we started this thing of content creation, which has become into something so much bigger. So yeah.
I can't believe I didn't get into FPL sooner, because I've played fantasy football for 12 years, but the majority of that has been very, very isolated towards like a small independent Telegraph fantasy football mini league that someone like manages on a spreadsheet. And I did that, and it was like, I didn't know anything. I thought FPL was like, I don't know, something like mainstream that people who weren't really serious about it sort of did it. And that's going to offend a lot of people. So don't come at me with pitchforks. But yeah, how wrong I was. Like, I couldn't believe I didn't get into it sooner, because it's so much better than other fantasy football games out there. Like the game I played, we had 6 transfers in 2 halves of the season, so 12 in total. So limiting. I just thinking about it retrospectively, I don't know how I did it. I think you make one bad transfer and you just get bored, and you're like, oh, how do I reconcile this? You can't. You have to stick with it. And
that's why you need the network, right? I think that's why Twitter works really well. Some of these smaller groups work really well, where you actually the whole idea of this is not the outcome, again, as discussing ideas and what can we do, who to captain. I mean, this stuff is so, and then you get the dopamine hit, right? When the things work out. when you get the Brownhill auto sub or you get the Sun captaincy. Just,
Mount and Havertz needs a rest.
No! No! Stop it.
Wow.
Oh my God. At least I get the Leeds game.
Come on,
Oh, wow.
James and Alonso. Come on, James and Alonso.
Oh my God. Why didn't I listen to Praz?
Come on. You'll get your points in the second game.
Fingers crossed. And hopefully he gets on like 30 minutes for this one. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I love that we've just been talking about the logical point of view and like don't get stressed about the emotional side of things. Havertz benched. For God's sake. So annoying.
I mean,
I'm
this
gonna
was the
lose.
issue with
I'm
Chelsea.
going to lose all my hair by the end of the day.
As we
Well-
wait for James news, tell us your story.
James and Alonso start. Let's
Yep,
go.
nice.
Let's go.
Nice.
I'm so happy for you all.
You have Alonso. Alonso is getting a bigger haul than James because we don't know where James is starting.
That's true. Oh,
I'm quite bullish on Alonso. Actually, in some ways, I would have. If you had texted me, Andy, I would have told you do James to Alonso. I know it's really weird, but all your moves were really luxury moves.
Luxury moves, yeah.
oh.
Because now James starts this. Does he play midweek? I don't know.
All right, no excuses, Maris. You better start.
Delia asked, Praz, are you taking any new apprentices next year?
Always.
Always.
I mean, Delia is, I don't know for those who don't know her, but she's an amazing baker. She's got an amazing variety of cupcakes that she brought to one. She had cookies in the fest as well. And I saw yesterday night, she made some Liverpool cookies, absolutely stunning. So it's great, very talented.
Yeah, Delia's been I've been interacting on Twitter with her once in a while, and she's awesome as well. So shout out Delia.
I see Legomane saying, Pras, I listen to you. So Legomane and I were discussing what he should do for Mount. He's gone Mount to Saka, I think, if that's what we discussed.
I think it's a really good move. Obviously, not knowing that Mount and Havertz was benched, but I think to bring in Saka, who's borderline, one of the best in the game. Like, people were considering him for captaincy this week. Saka, a really consistent guy in that Arsenal team. That's a really good move. Oh my God, I'm so annoyed.
It's still, by the way, Andy who said James and Alonso start, not Rockstar.
Yeah. But he gets occasional early team news, doesn't he?
I always find it really odd, right? We get so excited. It's just 3 minutes before the official. I mean, what's the rush? I mean, this is what the whole society has become, instant gratification. I want to know now, right? I want my Prime order tomorrow, even though I don't need the thing for a week. It's just, that's how we've become. It's like we could just wait 2 minutes.
Do you think those changes are some changes are going to actually happen next season?
In terms of
Sounds like
deadline?
No, just anything, right? There's like some chip discussions and
Yeah,
this and
FPL
that.
Salah said he got a bit of feedback, didn't he? About
I think his tweet was misinterpreted. What he was saying was, looking at the feedback form, these are the things that stood out. So we were laughing actually separately that the whole community thinks that he's got some kind of a secret side deal with official FPL.
Wow, Lukaku's starting, I think.
great. Oh, actually, that's really good because Tuchel will realise that he's rubbish and take him off at half time for Havertz, and all be forgiven.
Spicy Ted.
Oh, I'm so salty right now. What did I expect, though? I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, I was expecting him to start once and maybe get a cameo in the other. So, do I want the Wolves game or the Leeds game? What's the better fixture?
I hate to break it to you, but Wolves at home is the better fixture.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, wow.
I mean, the new Leeds is much more pragmatic, less attacking.
Yeah, you're right.
But you'll get minutes. I mean, this is going to be what? He's going to play Lukaku, Ziyech, if Mount is also not playing, and maybe even Pulisic or Werner. So this is completely like the other three. So you'll get the full three back on midweek and then the FA Cup final.
It's weird how he played it that way round, though, because assuming that he plays his strongest side in the FA Cup final, assuming Havertz is going to be a part of that. So why play Havertz?
It could be like it could be just like get rhythm right before, right?
Or during the week off before, he would have given a few days off to some of these guys to just take a break.
Think about the mistake that I believe that Moyes made with West Ham is that once they were kind of done with their attempt at European spot, he rested like all his stars quite a bit. I don't know exactly how many games, Bowen, Antonio. And then once they played the European games, I feel like they lost that rhythm a little bit. So
yeah. Come on, tell me James and Alonso.
In the building. I'm on the Chelsea account. I can just like see some people. Ziyech, Rudiger, Kovacic, Werner. Oh, it's 2 p.m. Tell me. God, I'm so There we go. Mendy, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, James, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek, Alonso, Pulisic, Lukaku, and Werner.
Ziyech, Pulisic, and Lukaku. It's a completely different three. So yeah, it's just basically he's rested out. Now the risk is that in the midweek he'll play the better front three and then rest the back line and play a back four or something. But it's surprising he usually prefers Ziyech to play when it's a back four. So that's something that I wasn't.
No, Ziyech is not playing.
He's not playing. So definitely back four on the midweek, and James and Alonso will get a rest. That's at least my prediction.
Okay, so we've got a back five. Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek in the middle. Pulisic, Lukaku, and Werner keeps his spot. So yeah, that's interesting. Like, what's the other team news? Who are they playing? Wolves. Let's have a look. See what their side looks like. If you guys can get the other team news up.
João Pedro is not on the bench. Not starting, not on the bench. So bench boosters, some may have him. Villa lineup. Ings starts again.
Nice.
No Coutinho.
What?
Wow.
Coutinho on the bench.
Wow.
Some fans were expecting that because Ings and Watkins playing Bundia, who's now back.
Interesting. So he's playing two up top, and Buendia is number 10.
Yeah. Then you have Chambers and Mings and Konza. This is 5 at the back. Or is Chambers playing midfield?
Interesting.
I think this is 5 at the back. Konza, Mings, Chambers, and then you have Cash and Dean as the wing backs. Then you have Louise and McGinn in the middle, possibly, unless Chambers is playing holding mid as well.
Wolves, I'm not sure there's too much to say. I mean, Jimenez starts. I'm not sure too many people own him, but like Pedro Neto and Johnny as well, they're back. It's a fairly...
Ings and Watkins starting together. It's been a while, right?
He came on, didn't he? Didn't he do the same last week?
Someone got injured. I think that's why he came on.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, Edouard starts ahead of Mateta, Zaha, Eze, Elise, Gallagher and Hughes as CDMs, and then Klein, Anderson, Grahy, and Ward with Butland in goal. So Guaita misses out altogether.
This Crystal Palace source could be nice for our free hit 37. We need to keep Focal as our friend.
Watford news. Dennis is starting alongside King and Sarr, so back to the old days. Cleverly, Kayembe, Sissoko in midfield. Kamara, Samir, Cathcart, Femenia, and Foster in goal. Not particularly interesting, these lineups, really.
Well, interesting for bench boosters. Some went Pedro.
Okay. Yeah. Chelsea, Wolves, Burnley, Aston Villa, Weghorst starts. I'm not sure any other people really own. That's a really interesting Villa lineup.
Ings is getting interesting.
Yeah.
João Pedro is injured. Sorry to interrupt. Just saying, some people have him on bench boost. That's why it's not great.
Adams misses out for Southampton. Breuer and Armstrong start up top. Got Walker Peters and Perro as the left and right back. Otherwise, it's fairly as you'd expect. So, yeah.
Public service announcement. Brownhill starts. Yeah,
You have a bench this time, Andy.
I have a bench.
Oh dear. I mean, he did well for you last week, isn't it? Basically, he gave you like 5,000 rank boost, right? Didn't he? Because he came on.
Yep.
Incredible stuff. Yep. I mean, you've got to take these when it comes your way. So, absolutely fantastic. You know, some of us just, make the wrong decisions and...
Did you notice the way he's saying, absolutely fantastic? So pissed off.
You'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. It's not like...
Yeah, Mount still got that second game. You can come on the first game, 70th minute, get a goal. Or Havertz, sorry.
Also remember, Havertz, you're keeping him for Watford at home in game week 38. He will definitely play that. He'll get you points.
Yeah. Your consolations are much, much appreciated, but they're not hitting home.
I mean, I could have said, look, Ted, we told you, man. I mean, you shouldn't have done it. You could do that as well.
Tough love. I kind of prefer that, to be honest. Oh, man. Okay, I think we'll call it a day, chaps. Thank you so much for joining me. We've done it for an hour and a half or so, but that was good fun.
Yeah, this is fun. This is fun. My learning is next time to start a beer a little early in the day and then have that. We'll make it even better. But yeah, it was great. Thank you for having us.
Weirdly, your microphone just completely sorted itself out.
My voice just got calmer.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. And I'm just spitting venom into my microphone. It's a good thing I've got this little shield here. Otherwise, I'd be buying a new one by the end of this. Anyway, yeah, thanks again, chaps. And thanks to all for joining us in the chat. Hopefully you all have good game weeks and you don't have Havertz because, only the worst sort of people have those sort of players. Anyway, we'll say goodbye. Goodbye from me.
Bye from me.
Hey, guys.
See you, chaps. Have a good one.